All right. Okay, well, thanks again for joining me. Today we have Kevina Cassaletto, and she's one of our original parents here at the preschool. You joined us the very first year that we were open, and you had, we've had two of your children. So, well, both of your children. You have two children, Penny, who is in the second grade now, and then Lincoln, who's in the first grade. So,
Correct, yes.
okay, so we started off with Miss Penny, and do you want to just tell us a little bit about how you found our school and why you signed them up?
My mom actually found you guys. There was like a setup for you guys at I think it was Wilmington Health Day at one of the parks at MP Park. And she was like, oh my gosh, because I'd been homeschooling and the foreign language piece is what I didn't have. I don't have a good foundation in Spanish. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I wanted. So we were, I think, the first people to put in our deposit. We were super excited. So my daughter went 2 days a week and I homeschooled the other three. And then she was able to get in Gregory where it kept the same pattern. So it was every other day, English and Spanish, English and Spanish. And through that, she was able to get the perfect foundation because we wanted to continue Spanish and Gregory and we were able to get in. So it gave her a good foundation with all the procedural questions and how to raise her hand and go to the bathroom, all that kind of stuff, all in Spanish. So she had a very smooth transition with just 2 days a week at Wilmington Bilingual Preschool. So we did the same thing with my son. We also did a week camp for both of them before they started kindergarten, and that was really helpful, kind of just to get them back in that mindset and then start school.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I remember that, the camp. I'd forgotten that they attended our summer camp as well. Okay. And I guess for parents maybe who don't know anything about Gregory, maybe I'll tell them a little bit. Gregory is a magnet school here for New Hanover County residents. So I do like to point that out. It's only for the families who live in New Hanover County. It's part of New Hanover County schools. You do have to get applied via the lottery. So they have a lottery system, and I think they start accepting applications in March of each school year. And parents can put their names on the lottery when they apply to their regular schools and then see if they can get into Gregory International. But Gregory is a K through 5 Spanish, English. It's a dual immersion program. Is that correct?
Correct. So it's 50-50. So when it was formerly at Forest Hills, they were, I believe, an 80-20 program, but it's 50-50 dual language. So they're looking for Spanish language, Spanish native speakers and English native speakers so that they have a mix on the playground and throughout the school.
That's correct. And Gregory does, I think, an AB schedule. So one day the students attend and they have all of their classes in Spanish, correct? And then the next.
So they actually, on each hall, there's a Spanish side and English side. So they actually switch classrooms. So they have a homeroom teacher where they start off in, and then, if it's a Spanish day, they go to Spanish that day. So they have the whole day in whatever language is their language for the day.
Okay, perfect. So that's how it works. And Gregory is K through 5, but students can continue through middle school. Is that correct?
Correct. So the program itself, the dual language program, goes all the way through 8th grade. And those first classes, they're actually in high school now. So there might be a program continuing by the time we get up to high school. But in middle school, they will continue to have one day in English, one day in Spanish, and then typically you're offered a foreign language in middle school. So they're able to take Mandarin Chinese as their foreign language. So they'd be getting a third language exposure.
Okay, nice, exciting. And so I guess, do you just want to let us know how things been for Penny and Lincoln at Gregory? Do you feel like they're progressing well in both languages?
Yeah, so something that I love about Gregory and getting that base in at Wilmington Bilingual Preschool is they're able to switch between the two. So it's so funny. We've been doing remote learning now. So I get to see it firsthand when we start off the week or whatever language. I'm like, they'll start to read and it'll be in English. I'm like, oh, it's a Spanish day. And they just switch over and they just read and pronounce in Spanish. So I was slightly concerned about like being able to, shift gears, but they can just literally turn it on and off, and they speak in the accent that their teachers have. So they both had Colombian teachers, and then they had one teacher from Madrid, so they had this sound for the Spain. So it's really funny watching their accent shift as they're exposed to those different teachers, which is something we really love. So their primary teacher, they're from countries all over Central and South America and also Spain. And then their assistants are from others, similar to Wilmington Bilingual Preschool. So the exposure they get to pronunciation and culture is really great at Gregory.
Wow, that's fascinating. That's fascinating. And they're learning how to read as well. So they're doing reading, math, everything in both languages.
Yes. So the way it works with Gregory is they want all the children to be on grade level in whatever their primary language is, either Spanish or English. And then they expect them to be just one grade level below in the secondary language. And Penny is right there. So she's reading a little bit beyond second grade, even though we've been remote. So she's right where she should be in English, and she's almost in second grade in her Spanish fluency. So it's really exciting. Like, it hasn't held them back in English at all, but just seeing that their Spanish is right there. And both of them have been excelling in math. And there's lots of science to kind of support the reasoning behind that, why learning another language could help them excel in math. But they both like that math's no problem. So.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm so proud of them. And I guess, and you touched on this a little bit, but I just wanted to reiterate because sometimes we do have families who feel like they have to send their children to Wilmington Bilingual Preschool 5 days a week in order to get them ready for Gregory. And I always tell them that's not the case. I do think any exposure to Spanish prior to attending Gregory would be helpful. So and you were one of those parents, you only sent them 2 days a week. So do you feel like that was effective and that was helpful and beneficial for them?
Right. And yes, so definitely 100%. Yes. So they just went 2 mornings a week, and they, of course, were not anywhere near the children that went 5 days a week as far as fluency. They had no complaints about it. They loved going there. There was such engagement, and their friends spoke, Russian, English, and Spanish. So they were able to get along fine. But when they went into Gregory, they warn you when you sign up for kindergarten Gregory to give it 1 to 2 months. It's going to be hard because it's all a foreign language for that whole, whatever their when their Spanish days are. And I actually had a friend who has a kindergartner the same time my daughter did, and she had a much rougher experience. So just those basic things like asking for more paper or asking for water, having those under your belt, which my daughter did just from the 2 days, made her feel really confident and help for that. She didn't have that big bump that she normally would have if that was just hit with Spanish the first time, full day.
Yeah. She'd gotten that out of the way in preschool. So
yes.
Okay. And I guess my last question, just a lot of times parents bring up, I guess, kind of the location of Gregory. It's in downtown Wilmington, and maybe some people who live on the outskirts of town aren't super comfortable with that. How would you address any parents' safety concerns? What would you say?
Okay. I live close to that area. So, everything is risk analysis. We felt really safe and secure at Gregory. If you go and look at the school, it's completely fenced in, so no one can walk onto the campus. And also it has large fields for the children to play on, multiple playgrounds, which was important to us. And they are really good if there's something, it's in an urban environment, so there's going to be urban issues. So if, the police are in the area, they'll go into lockdown and we get a text right away. And we also get a text when it goes off, and they're very good about open communication with that. So we felt very safe. I grew up in Charlotte, so nothing near the schools, downtown in Charlotte. So I understand it can be scary for people who are, in more rural parts of the city or the county. But for us, it was a no-brainer just for the access to diversity. So we wanted a school that reflects the population of New Hanover County, and Gregory does. And we got into another lottery school, and it was like 85% white. So that doesn't reflect the county. So we were looking at schools that have, a diverse population like where we live. So it was important for us to go there, and the kids have loved it. The classes have been great. Their friends are great. And they stay, one thing about Gregory, which I love to say, is because it is the dual language program, there are 4 classes in kindergarten. So 2 in Spanish, 2 in English. And they just have these 4 classes of kids that will switch as they move up. So they get such tight bonds. So my daughter has a couple kids from when she went to preschool at Wilmington Bilingual Preschool, and they've been shifted around, but they'll see each other on the playground and at lunch. So they've been able to really build those bonds all the way from age 3 up till now she's 8. So that's something that I really like, is because it's a language immersion school, you can't just pop in.
Right.
So the classes stay really tight.
Okay, that's good. That's a good point. And one thing I did want to add too is that if you're with siblings, so if an older sibling gets in, all the subsequent siblings are guaranteed a spot in the Gregory too. They don't have to repeat the lottery, correct?
Correct, correct. So you still have to register them from school, and then they'll just send home a letter of intent, and you say, yes, my youngest is also intending to go to Gregory. So it's been really nice because the teachers are really great when you come in for, activities or whatever, for introducing themselves to your younger siblings and stuff. So my son, he felt ready to go. He had seen them when we drop off my daughter. He felt like he knew them. So it was a very smooth process for him. He'd been there before. Kindergarten, the first day was no big deal. I can do it. I don't need you to walk me in. So
Perfect. Okay. Well, anything else you want to add about Gregory or Wilmington Bilingual or about your family's experience in general, or have you said it all?
yeah. So like I said, I didn't and don't. I'm working on it. Have a great base in Spanish, but that's another thing. A lot of people are like, well, I don't speak Spanish. How am I supposed to help with the homework? Gregory is great at this. They are on top of the research. They are prepared for families in both speaking situations. So those that primarily speak Spanish, those that primarily speak English. So the homework is really oriented so that the children can do it themselves. So we've had homework notebooks, going home where they go over it at school, and it's like a one-page thing usually. So it's the focus is on learning it at school, and then giving them work that they can do independently at home. And if you do have questions, the teachers have been really responsive at getting back and kind of supporting you at home with that.
Okay, fantastic. That's a good point to add. Well, I guess thank you again so much for joining us, Kevina. You kind of turned into our unofficial parent rep for Gregory International. So every year we invite you back to help other families make their decision. And I always enjoy chatting with you and getting updated on how the kids are doing.
Well, we love it. And we have a lot of parents that have come to Gregory in the years subsequent, with my son and some other younger ones coming up. So we have this little, Wilmington Bilingual preschool subset in Gregory. So we love it. We feel really lucky that we have both these options in New Hanover County. So I think there's only 8 states that offer public school immersion programs. That was like a couple of years ago. I'm not sure if it's increased, but we feel super lucky to have that here in New Hanover.
Oh, that's true. And even fewer that have preschool options.
Yes.
So,
yes.
So we appreciate you guys helping support us and helping get us started.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks again, Kevina. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.